everyone. Good afternoon to those that have joined us both here and online. You will see lots of support online there for you as well. My name is Dr. Marla Coonan. Hi, Martine. I'm the Executive Dean for Strategy and Stakeholder Management here at the Da Vinci Institute. But today it is indeed my honor to be your Program Director for those of you that are graduating physically here as well as those that are graduating online today. So it is indeed an exciting day, and you should be very proud of yourselves because you have achieved what many people have not, and that is that you're about to graduate with a qualification. Many people start but don't actually complete. So I hope you celebrate yourselves today, who you are and what you stand for. So I want to say to our most distinguished guests, Musa, Celeste, Jamie, Jeanette, Kwanele, Banele, Rakesh, Griselda, Jenny, Nathan, Nompumamlelo, Angelique, Warren, Isaac, and Bongani, congratulations to each of you today. So just a couple of house rules before we start. First of all, over here, you will see that there's a camera, okay, right here. That's the professional photos that you're having taken. So there will be a Senate member and a council member of either side of you, and then depending on who, which group you're in terms of SAPA, SAF, etc., there will also be handshakers representing SAPA and SAF. We will then take the first picture, and then you will proceed to that over there, and we will take the second picture of you being capped. And that is just for you guys to look over there at the camera. So that was just the first thing. So can I please ask the audience, you're welcome to take videos, photos, or whatever you want, but please do not use flash photography because it messes with the professional photographer's flash. Then the other thing is just to ask everyone to turn their cell phones onto silent if possible, please. And to also just remember there are exits on both sides, but the ceremony does run on time. So if possible, for you to please not leave the venue. For those of you that have joined us online, you are muted because it creates too much interference with the video that is live streaming on YouTube. But you are welcome if you want to turn your cameras on, those of you that wish to. And if you are a student, we will unmute you if you wish to be unmuted once your name is called. Okay, so with all the formalities passed, please rise for the academic procession. Be seated. So, as I told you, you are our most distinguished guests here today, but there are some in their red cloaks and colored cloaks that have some distinguishing features that I need to introduce you to. So, first of all, sitting to my left is the representative from Senate, which is our highest academic decision-making body, Dr. Heather Good. She will formally open the proceedings and close them today, as well as grant me permission to qualify you. And next to her is Professor Habia Klopper, who's the CEO of the Da Vinci Institute, and he represents council, which is where we have industry practitioners in various fields who guide the Institute in terms of making sure that we align with industry best practices in terms of the Institute's strategy. And then next to him is Ms. Louise Fuller, who is our registrar today. And then the lady, well, not today, always, but she's the one that will be capping you. And the lady in red sitting behind you over there is Dr. Indira Bagalu, and she is our guest speaker today and will be addressing you shortly. So welcome to everybody, and as well as those Executive Council, Senate members, family and friends that have joined us online. I would now like to call up Dr. Good to formally open the proceedings.
Good afternoon. You don't need to look so nervous. By the power vested in me as a representative of the Da Vinci Institute Senate, I hereby constitute this congregation as a lawful gathering for the Da Vinci Institute. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Good. So that means we can officially start. And so it is indeed my honor to introduce to you Dr. Indira Bagalu. Indira is actually an alumnus of the Da Vinci Institute, and we are so proud to have somebody with her depth of experience as a graduate of our institute. Dr. Bagalu has over 28 years of experience in the financial services sector, where she's held various high-level positions and executive positions both in the corporate banking sector and also within the education sphere. For the last 7 years, she's been part of a team of top-tier learning that we work very closely with, and she is the Director of Strategic Relations and Education, and she is responsible for shaping and executing both the academic and vocational strategy to increase the product reach, the business development, strategic relations, ensuring scalability, etc. She is an exceptionally rounded individual. I've been privileged to hear her speak many times, and the thing that always makes me think of someone with absolute passion. So they say that red is a color of passion, and she wears the red gown because she's passionate about education, having worked herself up not only in the corporate space, but also in the academic realm. She is a balanced and holistic character who enjoys her family life as well as the contributions to her career and other aspects. And I think to be a true, agile, aligned, and engaged managerial leader, one has to find the synchronicity between being busy and actually having balance. And there is a difference, because you can fit many things into a life if you choose to really be cautious of how you strategize over what is important. So strategizing over priorities. And I think this is something that you do really well, which is why you probably have a balanced life. However, it is also through some of your strategic thinking and the mindful way in which you do things that I believe that this is the case. So she's always an inspiring speaker. She has an absolute passion for education and education of adult learners, specifically within the various sectors that she impacts. I introduce to you Dr. Indira Bagalu.
Thank you, our program director. Good afternoon to members of the Senate, members of the Academic Council, our registrar, individuals who are actually engaging with us online, to the guests, but most importantly, to this very, very remarkable audience of graduates. Congratulations. It takes resolve, determination, energy, discipline, and a lot of grit to actually study whilst you're working. Beyond that, you still have your day-to-day priorities. You have to contribute to your family, your extended families, your communities, and your business objectives, while still having to show your tenacity towards your academic rigor. And believe you me, I've walked that journey. So most of my studies have actually been part-time. I could not attend university for financial reasons. And I started very young in the corporate world and, worked, built a career, managed family, and had to move through the academic ranks as well. But having said that, it is a journey. Education is a journey of passion. It's a journey of accumulating knowledge. But most of all, it is a journey of application. And it's a journey of understanding the difference between intelligence and education, because there most certainly is that difference. You necessarily don't have to always find a piece of paper to establish your level of cognitive thinking, your level of intelligence, and your attitude towards learning. So my mum was a very, she was brought up in a very conservative environment. She unfortunately only had to go up to grade 7. It was standard 5 in her lifestyle. But she was the most intelligent woman that I've ever met. You know, she married my dad, and she actually met him for the second time on the stage of her wedding. But she was quite a pioneer within a very conservative environment, and she never allowed her predispositions, her circumstances, to actually dictate how she wanted to educate herself and how she wanted to learn. So she may not have had a piece of paper, but the manner in which she accumulated knowledge and applied it and led us to where we are today was absolutely phenomenal. And there are very few people in corporate, honestly, that I have actually met that had that tenacity and that attitude towards garnishing and gathering education and putting it to practical use. So that is a talent that one has. And as you have, you know, gone through your journey, and there are many more journeys that you're going to go through, because this is the start of your education journey. So you're going to do your undergrad, you're probably going to go through your postgrad, you're probably going to do your MBA and then your doctorate in time. But understand it's what you actually gather from that process, the networks you build, the experience that you have, and the manner in which you apply it, that's actually going to hold you in good stead. So life has just changed so much since COVID. Many of us had suffered personal trauma. Many of us have actually been affected. I don't think there's anyone in this room who could actually say that they have not been affected by COVID. It's interesting to note that, I mean, it's just barely 2 years prior to us being exposed to the pandemic, where we were engaging about the impact of the fourth industrial revolution to the digital era. And then there were narratives that were creeping in regarding the fifth industrial revolution then already. And it was really, the basis, the fifth industrial revolution narratives were on the basis of robos and human beings dancing together in unison. So we can all, I think, agree that COVID has actually amplified the rigor of both revolutions and has thrown us in a matter of months in this massive digital renaissance. And within this renaissance, this digital renaissance, we had to change our ideologies to the manner in which we communicate, the manner in which we engage in the work environment, in our home environment, our social orientations, and culture to an extent has actually been quite impacted by this. It's quite interesting that, these thrusts towards social norms and culture have been redefined in such a short period of time. And it will be interesting in a few years' time when we wear our jackets and, we put our hands in our pockets and we see a mask, and then think back about, my word, this time when we actually had to change so diabolically. But here we are, and you have studied and you have graduated, through this process. It is no short feat. But what I would like us to really consider is, throughout this process, how do we present ourselves, and what is it that we actually think about going forward in how we engage with humanity? So through this whole era of, the digital renaissance, and I call it an era because COVID just has seemed, to have taken just so long to subside. Through this process, the World Economic Forum has claimed that all of these changes will either lead to positive progress to humanity, or alternatively, it would give us disastrous setbacks. The reality, though, is that the outcome of whether it would plunge us into, unprecedented collaboration with humanity and creating success for humanity, or huge disastrous setbacks, is really by virtue of how we want to proceed and how we want to behave and how we want to present ourselves and show up. Because the foundation of universal values are still the core. And whether it was pre-COVID, pre the digital renaissance, or post-COVID, and as we navigate through the digital renaissance, it is still a core criteria in terms of, fundamentally how we actually behave and what it is that we focus on. So dignity and equity of all human beings is just so fundamentally important in terms of our agenda regarding how we engage each other. How do we set each other up for success? How do we work with each other to ensure that we can collaborate and we can understand our purposes within an ecosystem? So I think most of you would also realize that within the context of everything that has happened over a very short period of time, the process about I and the conversations around I are no longer. It's always about we. It's about how we work in squads as a team. It's no longer the fact that the leader has all of this intellectual and this cognitive ability and only they can lead a team and only they can add value in a project. It's about us doing it collectively. But the most importantly is how we actually contribute to those conversations and how do we treat our fellow human beings in that process. Because we do have weaker links. And sometimes we need to understand what do those weaker links actually mean. Is it by virtue of attitude? Is it by virtue of laziness? Or is it by virtue of circumstances? And sometimes we look at a weakest link and we don't know what's happening behind their closed doors. We don't know if there's abuse. We don't know if there's poverty. We don't know if there is a whole lot of tragedy that's happening in their back door. And yet, because we're wanting to shine, it's sometimes very easy to sort of plunge ahead and trample on the weaker link. So just remember that dignity and equity of all human beings must prevail throughout your journeys as you move in your professional world and as you move in your personal environment as well. I think that, it goes without saying that the importance of a common good that transcends individual interest is another key factor for us to consider. And we say this, but sometimes we forget about it in the midst of us actually trying to pedal, extraordinary fast beyond the waters. So we come across as being eloquent and we come across as being poised, but really beyond the waters, we're actually paddling so hard and we forget about the common good and what our contribution should be towards the common good. The need for stewardship and the concern for future generations. What are we doing to make a difference for our future generations? How are we contributing to society? And how are we contributing to the environment in order to ensure that the generations to come will find this world in a better place and they would actually be able to succeed as we move forward. So it's really about thinking beyond our life cycles and our lifestyles and contributing to these universal values that I do believe would have this positive progress for humanity, and it would most certainly quell these disastrous setbacks that the World Economic Forum actually talks about. So as you proceed on your journey with this formidable qualification that you have, and congratulations again, consider how are you going to take this knowledge, the experience, and the networks that you've built in order for you to become the greatest version of yourself. And remember the three components that I had actually spoken to you about in terms of the universal values. And how are you going to embrace these universal values in order to become this greater version of yourself? And it's not just for yourself, but it's for others. It's about setting an example for what truly is possible and reaching your higher potential and intention. Intentionality is the most advanced weapon one can actually think about. You know, I have been through quite a lot of trauma through COVID, and I've lost many people. One of them has been my sister, who's my soulmate and my twin flame. And when I had lost her, I thought my whole world would actually be falling, you know, just around me. But intentionality has been such a such a power weapon for me, because I woke up with intention. The days I woke up and I was empty and I didn't really want to get out of bed, I set an intention. And my intention was very simple some days. It was really just getting out of bed, brushing my teeth, showering, praying, meditating, and finding grounding. And that was okay. That was fine for that point in time. But just doing that actually gave me the strength and the energy to take on the next day. So even in terms of where your pathways are going to lie, whether you are in a personal environment or professional environment, that element of setting intentionality is fundamentally important, because your growth comes from your experiences. It comes from your learnings, comes from your scars, from your failures, from your achievements and your intentions to get better. I remember being, you know, at crossroads many times in my life, whether it was in my personal capacity or whether it was in my professional world. And I remember the story that my mum told me when I was, perhaps about 12 years old. So my mum said to me that there was this mother camel and the baby camel. And they were sort of, you know, laying in unison, having a conversation. So the baby camel says to the mother, "But Mum, why do we have these humps on our back?" And the mum says, "Well, you know, we built for the desert. We travel long distances. There isn't water out there often. And the humps actually store water so we can have, you know, we can be hydrated and we can live." So the baby camel nods and then thinks about things, and in typical, you know, child mode, says, "Well, why do we have these long legs and these round feet?" And the mum says, "Well, we walk long distance in the sand, and it helps us, you know, our round feet helps us actually stabilize as we walk through the sand." And he accepts it, and then he says, "Well, Mum, why do we have these long lashes?" And Mum says, "Well, we have these long lashes because we have these treacherous winds in the desert, and the long lashes would obviously help us, you know, protect our eyes." So the baby camel sort of thinks about it for a while, digests what the mum says, and then he says to the mum, "Well, if we have all these natural abilities given to us to walk through the desert, why do you think camels are in zoos?" And sometimes in your crossroad, you are going to find yourself, you know, being in a zoo or being in the desert. And it's going to be your choice in terms of how you are going to manage that process. So you've probably heard about the professional who ditched his or her career to follow their dreams, or the person who remained unfulfilled in their jobs. And sometimes you are in your jobs because circumstances, and you need to make responsible decisions. But it's what do you do in that environment where you're actually feeling fulfilled? How do you reinvent yourself? How do you create the energy? How do you motivate yourself? How do you create an intention to actually make that environment where it is a circumstance better for you? And I think very often we think that we're stuck, but we do have choices. And it's the choices that we make in a responsible manner that will take us to the next level. The most important is equip yourself with education. And education doesn't always have to be a formal way of education. Education could be how you sponge off multiple information that's available to you. understanding who adds value when you're actually having a conversation. How many of your relationships actually take you to the next level or bring you down? Every conversation you have, walk away and think about, what is it that I've gained from this conversation that's actually going to add value? Even if it's one thing, or even if you have contributed to someone else in terms of gaining value, that's important. So I've been, as the program director said, I've been in corporate for many years. I've come through many leaders. Many cases, you know, you do find leaders who have their personal agendas, etc. But there was one man called Clive Douglas, who I met when I was heading up private banking South Africa for Standard Bank. And Clive was a gentleman who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His dad owned Melville Douglas, which is an asset management company, and Clive lived the life. But he always believed that if he lived the life irresponsibly, the legacy his father had left would never sustain the generations to come. So his plight was really to take the business and move it to the next level. So in doing so, he sold the business to Standard Bank, and in view of his retainer, he had to actually, work in the environment for about 3 years. And he was totally out of his comfort zone, totally out. Never experienced corporate, has always been an entrepreneur, always, was sort of wild in terms of his dreams and could implement it and had been successful. And in corporate, there was this element of red tape, and it was just so difficult for him to operate. But then he decided that he's not going to be in a zoo. He's actually going to take everything that he's learned, he's going to deal what needs to be dealt, but then he's going to make a difference to the individuals who actually work with him. And he's going to start generating the entrepreneurship thinking. And it's through all his cause that he had put forward, which is totally out of his portfolio, that Standard Bank actually started creating this hub of entrepreneurship, this new way of thinking, the new context around, building platform businesses, etc. Because he decided that he wanted to give more. He wanted to move out of his mold and give a bit more. But I remember one conversation that he had with me, and it stood the test of time. And he says, you are your true conscience, in that you would know the level of your contribution. And if you leave any aspect of your day and you believe that you have not earned your 10 Rand for that day, then you have your conscience to answer to. And that has always been my test of my day, since that conversation, driving home every day and thinking, did I actually earn my 10 Rand for today? Have I been putting out fires? Have I been busy for the sake of busy, and have I then not grown in the process? So I'll leave you with that story as you ponder, but I'd like to also tell you that in the midst of everything that I have spoken about, always remember to be your authentic self, and remember to be kind to yourself, because life isn't easy. Life, they say, is a bitch, and then you die. But the reality, it is not easy. So be kind to yourself, have fun, enjoy what you have, but leave that mark for your future generations, and make a difference to everyone whom you have actually come across. And you've started your journey of education. Take it forward. It's a marvelous journey. The knowledge that you're going to gain, the people whom you meet, it's extraordinary. So congratulations, and thank you for giving me your time.
As I told you, a woman of many talents, so you can see she is also an exceptional orator. Thank you so much, Dr. Bagaloo, for that. And also just the meaning around, at Da Vinci, part of the TIPS managerial leadership framework is we speak about co-creating direction. And as much as this is focused on speaking at parts about the organization, it is also about the fact that individuals that have a vision for themselves and have goals that they want to attain because they believe it will make change, that really does bring a lot more synergy and peace into one's life. And if you do this whilst trying to sort of master some of the practices of personal knowledge mastery, probing reflective practices, and being a socially and emotionally intelligent individual, you will really be able to co-create a direction or a vision for yourself that others would buy into and that others would follow. And I think a lot of leaders start with the vision for themselves on how they want to change the world, and then they land up applying it to organizations. Like the story Dr. Bagalu told, he sold his business, but he didn't want to give away what he had seen as being part of his vision to be entrepreneurial, to add all of that. So even though the environment didn't allow for it, he found ways to ensure that his identity and his vision and the organizational identity and culture that he moved into would actually synergize in some way. And even if it's not a perfect fit, as you said, he made impact. And that is the difference. So thank you very much for all those words of wisdom and also your multiple messages to the students. Thank you. So now is the time, no doubt, you've all been waiting for you to graduate. So I will now request permission. Member of Senate, I request to you to confer the qualification higher certificate in the management of technology and innovation on the candidates I present to you today. Thank you. Permission has been granted. I would like to please call up Ms. Juliet Fourie, who's representing Metro Mines today, as well as Ms. Kate Naika and Ms. Charity Diali, who are representing Equesta. Are Kate and Charity here? Oh, there. Sorry, I didn't see if you were at the back. Please come forward. So I want to say, while they're making their way forward, these are the industry representatives from SAF. They obviously represent their own businesses, but are also, as industry representatives, but are also here from SAF to personally congratulate each of you. We thank SAF for the contribution that they continue to make to education. But Juliet, Kate, and Charity, if it was not for people like you, the world would not shift in terms of learning and development within organizations. Juliet, I've known for many years, and she makes a massive contribution, as I no doubt believe the two of you do as well. And when we educate people and we shift spaces, and as Dr. Bagalu says, when we grow knowledge, it really changes people. So thank you for joining us to congratulate the students. And if I can just ask that when you congratulate, if you can just swap so Juliet can be on this side with Dr. Good, and if the two of you could stand there with Prof. Klopper, just so that the photographer can get everyone in. You will see how they will stand, and Dr. Good will guide you. Juliet's got a lot of experience, so she knows how to do it. Okay, so I would now like to call on the students who have completed electives in sales management. Thanks, Musa. I know. Just keep walking on there. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Musa Fakuk Ajat. Congratulations. You can carry on walking to Louise, Musa. Thank you very much. And you will turn around now so that Louise can cap you. So Musa, I want to say to you and the Ajat family, congratulations on taking this path less traveled. Any investment in knowledge is an investment both in yourself and the way that we lead others. So I congratulate you on your remarkable achievement. Well done. Okay, so Jamie, okay, cool. Yeah, just wait 1 minute, Jamie. Okay, so I just want to say, because there's one student online that I'm just going to do before you. Okay, so they're rushing you today. So I want to say to Celeste Carstens, Celeste is joining us online. Celeste, I'm not sure if you want to put your camera on or if you're feeling a bit shy. I'd like to congratulate Celeste Carstens. Congratulations. Jamie and a half, should I say. Jamie Gounder. Okay, so you're going to turn this way. It's always the first person that does this that takes a bit of time. Jamie, you're turning to this big camera over here. Juliet, you'll need to, Heather and Juliet, you'll have to go one behind. Have you got everyone in? Yes. Okay, so guys, that's how you do it. So Jamie Gounder, congratulations. And I want to say to you that embarking on this type of a study is something that is probing reflective practices within yourself, but it also stretches us. And I'm sure this has not been an easy journey for you in terms of some days must have felt very exhausting. So to the Gounder family and to Jamie, I congratulate you. Jeanette? Got to fix the hats. The tassel's got to be in the right space. Thanks, Jeanette. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Jeanette Aggregate Mashale Sikote. Congratulations. You're a very quiet audience. You are allowed to shout, scream. I forgot to tell you, you can dance, shout, scream afterwards. Just please don't go into labor. You can do anything else, but I can't deliver babies. So I think in terms of that, I want to say to you, Jeanette, and to your entire family, congratulations on taking the path less traveled, being an adult and working and having commitments and a life and trying to study is no easy feat. And you have certainly done your family proud today and yourself. Congratulations. To the Mashale Sikote family, congratulations on Jeanette's achievement. The next student making her way forward, Kwanele, okay, thank you, is Kwanele Ntando Mkwanazi. Congratulations. Kwanele, I want to say to you that when we stand the test of time and we've got tenacity and perseverance, it certainly is characteristics that assist us in what we do. And to get here today, you must have had a lot of tenacity and perseverance. Don't run away. Someone wants to take a photo. Mommy, please. Yes. Mommy Mkwanazi, I was waiting for that. And I didn't hear any family stories there. Yes, carry on. Congratulations to the Mkwanazi family and be proud today. That's the kind of shouting I want, and even longer stories. Thank you very much. You'll have a chance again. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Banele Christopher Mlambo. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, Banele, you've clearly got an audience, but the reality is in those dark and quiet moments when no one is there, it's what you dig deep within yourself to find that got you to this point. So as much as today is a day of glory and I want you to celebrate it, you had the tenacity, the perseverance in those dark hours to overcome. Congratulations. Yay! Woo! Thank you. That is an indeed representation of the Mlambo family. Congratulations. That was awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to now introduce Rakesh, who's online. Rakesh Ramhajan has joined us online. We congratulate you, Rakesh, on receiving your qualification. I see the people online are a little bit shy today, but we do congratulate you and your family on this achievement. Griselda. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Griselda Ingrid Swart. Now, Banele, you're going to have to do a dance for Griselda because she received her qualification cum laude. Griselda, I do not think many people understand the type of work it takes to receive a qualification cum laude. It is not just doing well in one subject or module, but overall for the entire qualification, you really have to achieve all those results. So I congratulate you. And to the Swart family, congratulations on Griselda's remarkable achievement. I would like to thank SAF for investing in the students, and I would like to say to Juliet, and I would like to also say in terms of Metro Mines, for all that you continuously do, we thank you. And then also to Kate, Nika, and to Charity Diali from Equesta, thank you very much for all that you've contributed. You may be seated. Thank you. Is it Nathan? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Before you come up, don't rush, stay there. Okay, because before you come up, I just want to get some handshakers for you. So you just have to wait a moment. Okay, I would like to call Natisha Karim to please come forward, as well as Emmanuel Chetty and Ron Kerbis. Emmanuel and Ron are from Expeditors, and Natisha is representing SAPA today. And I would really like to please call you all up to congratulate the students. I know that you are here for Nathan and Angelique, but thank you very much in terms of your contribution as well. So I did say earlier that it's important in terms of educating people, and I'm greatly appreciative that SAF and SAPA always come to the fore with this. But for the two gentlemen also representing organizationally, these programs don't work unless we have industry support. And it's not easy taking on students whilst they're studying, and we understand that because it does come into the work environment, etc. So for allowing holism within the space, we thank you for encouraging this, because learning organizations are growing organizations. So thank you very much for that. Nathan, you can now have your moment in the sun, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Nathan Chetty. Nathan received his qualification cum laude. Ron and Emmanuel, are they in the photos? Okay, cool. And I know that Ron and Emmanuel are here to support you and Angelique, and there's something similarly unique about both of you that I will speak to afterwards. But to you, Nathan, congratulations on the remarkable achievement of receiving this qualification cum laude. To the Chetty family and Expeditors, we congratulate you on these achievements as well. Angelique? Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Angelique Renshoff van der Veen. Congratulations. Angelique also received her qualification cum laude. So, Ron and Emmanuel, you are doing something right, because this shows about investment in intellectual capital and looking at retention and growth of staff. And this is indeed a remarkable achievement that two people from within the same organization both received their qualifications cum laude. Congratulations. Angelique, be proud of yourselves. We don't always believe we're going to get to the top of the mountain. I have no doubt there were times when your feet felt like they were bleeding and you were walking up the mountain in those beautiful shoes. But today you got to the top and you get to enjoy the view. Congratulations. Oh, they just want to fix your tassel. No, you can give. It looks funny if it's not fixed in the photo. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduced you to Jenny Lee Bauer. Congratulations. Can you just turn in so that everyone's in the photo, Jenny Lee as well? So I'm not speaking because then I distract the photos. Jenny Lee, as you receive your qualification today, I hope you stand here proud of the fact that you, through your own determination and through your own perseverance, got to this point today. They're clicking because I'm not letting you look. No, don't run away. You got there through your own perseverance and through your own determination. And I hope these characteristics that you used to get to this point will stand you in good stead along with your qualification for all future endeavors. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Warren James van Dijk. Congratulations. Warren, sometimes when we start a journey, we think we will not make it to the end, but life is about not being a destination, but being a journey. And completing this qualification, you have journeyed to the point, and today you actually have arrived at the destination. I'll wait for you to have this over your head. The camera's looking at you this way. So I hope you're not running away. So I hope you enjoyed the journey, but most importantly, that when you got to the destination, you realized that you'd navigated your way to a space that you have reached this specific milestone goal in your life. And I hope as you journey and continue, you continue to awaken and engage your senses throughout your life. Congratulations. I would now like to just mention, while our representatives are up, students that are graduating online. So I want to say to Nompumelelo, Happiness Mlochwa, congratulations. I think you are online, if I'm not mistaken. Because people are quiet. Congratulations to you and your family. I also want to say to Isaac Singleton Fulshenk, congratulations on your achievement. And then to Bongani Michael Zimu, congratulations. I once again thank the representatives for how you represent the industry, and not only that, but how you grow and develop people. Thank you very much to Natisha, Emmanuel, and Ron for all you do. For all you do. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank SAPA and SAF for investing in the students and continually securing funding to try and grow the space that they represent. They have been long-time partners of Da Vinci, and we are always appreciative of the endeavors that they make, as well as to you, Juliet, as part of the associate faculty. And Martine has joined us from the United Kingdom. As you can see there, she never misses graduation. And so today you were represented. But Martine, we have to let you at least unmute and say something because you're always at graduation.
Thanks very much, Marla. Thanks to everybody. And just congratulations to all our students. Thank you for making SAPA proud. So thank you and thanks very well done to all the facilitators and to Da Vinci.
Thank you, Martine. Enjoy the rest of your trip, and thank you for joining us, and to Natisha for being here in the physical presence. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. So it is time for me to actually serenade you with a little bit of music. The Josie Opera were here and pre-recorded God Bless Africa as a tribute to all of our graduates this year. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy their magnificent voices.
Of weary heart.
It is indeed my honor and privilege as the program director to be able to do the closing of this graduation today, before I call on Dr. Good to officially dissolve the congregation. So I want to speak to you about two things today. And the first one is about remembering who we are and where we come from. And the second part of it is about something a little bit different, and that is, how do we maintain those roots that we have that are so important to us, but allow our minds to think differently, not only about connecting the dots as you've learned at Da Vinci, but stretching way beyond to collect the dots. Sometimes culturally, religiously, personally, our beliefs and ideologies can clash with some of the new things that come into our mind. And you've got to find ways to have a harmonious balance. And the way I always believe to do that is to make sure that those roots that you are grounded in are solid and you have a strong understanding of where you have come from. If you stand solid and you think of a tree that is deeply rooted into the ground, even when storms and winds come and they decide to stretch smaller branches, they survive the onslaught because their roots or their core remain strong. So I want to encourage you, first of all, to remain true and authentic, as Dr. Bagaloo spoke to your true self and who you are, where you come from, and what you identify with. And in honor of that, I want to say to each of the families here today, congratulations to you, because it is because of you that there are graduates sitting here today. Without your support and without your strength, you wouldn't. So in honor of your families' names, I want to congratulate the Ajat family for your contribution to bringing a graduate today in the form of Musa. To the Carstens family, to the Gounder family, to the Mashale Sikote family, congratulations, you have birthed a graduate. To the Mkwanazi family, to the Mlambo family, I want to say congratulations, because you have brought forward a graduate who expanded their mind. To the Ramhajan family, the Swart family, and the Bauer family, I want to say congratulations for what you did to allow somebody to further their education. To the Chetty family, to the Malochwa family, to the Renzo van der Veen family, the Van Dijk family, the Volshing family, and the Zimu family, I want to say congratulations to those that are here today and those that are no longer with us, to all those that are important to you and carry that family name. We want to say a huge congratulations for birthing a graduate who has tenacity and who has determination. Congratulations. To the graduates, I want to say to you, with those strong roots, you still need to stretch wide and far to expand your mind. Prof. Klopper spoke earlier today where he spoke about having elasticity in your thought, meaning to expand your mind like an elastic back and forth. If you've ever played with it, it stretches and reshapes, and you can continue to recreate your purpose. But I decided you'd heard my voice enough, so I'm playing a short video for those of you online and here that I want you to see as a matter of perspective. It is not my own video, and I do not take credit for it. You may know it, but I want you to listen to the words and think why these people think differently. So in terms of that, can I please ask for the video to be played?
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
So I want to say to you, to be the crazy ones, the remarkable ones, the round pegs in the square holes, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because you are the people that are critical realists who actually change the status quo. And it's not easy to be that person that stands up and lets your voice be heard. So what we as Da Vinci hope that you've learned on this journey and on continued learning journeys is to think differently. We don't say think out of the box, we say there isn't a box. So go way beyond any of that. And it does not mean you have to give up your ideals, your values, your beliefs. You can still ground yourself in all of that. What it does say to you is that do not see the world only through your lens. See the world through multiple lenses. We speak a lot here about being an ecosystemic thinker, and just like when we say things like epistemology, ontology, axiology, I see people's eyes glazing over, myself included at times, because those are the academic terms, but they have a deep and embedded meaning. And what we're trying to bring out in terms of some of this meaning when we look at systemic thinking is that you need to see that the sum of the parts makes up the whole, that there are environments that influence. There's your personal belief system, which is the micro, who you are as an individual. There is that the meso level around you, which is your communities, families, school structures in terms of where you came from, university structures. You move outwards to the exo, and the macro. And the thing about all these different perspectives and environments that you need to look at is that it helps you to consider all factors when you are making decisions. And then if you allow yourself to see the world from multiple lenses, so very different viewpoints, you can truly probe problems instead of just finding just-in-time solutions. Just-in-time solutions as a management strategy is something that doesn't often give rise to a deep and meaningful understanding of the problem at hand. So for short solutions, it's easy to make just decisions, and many of us have to often. But when you really want to probe a problem, you have to have a deep understanding of the complexity that surrounds that problem. Who are you dealing with? In what way? What are the cross-cultural differences? Do you have social and emotional intelligence to garner what you need from people? When you start understanding the complexity of the issue, then you can guide people cooperatively to be able to come up with various solutions. So you don't give people the right answer just to rush them along, but rather force them to actually cooperate and engage alongside you. And force is the wrong word because it doesn't align well with cooperate. But the reality is you push people beyond the limit. And that's what I hope for each of you as agile, aligned, and engaged managerial leaders, that you will push the status quo, let your voice be heard, and continue to probe problems and to think differently, to come up with solutions that don't only solve the immediate problem, but influence the co-creation of humane, sustainable societies. Congratulations to each of you. I would now like you to close your eyes for a few seconds, and when you open them, which you're not doing yet, you will see a galaxy in front of you. But I want to set the scene first. Try picture a dead black night. There's no wind, it's so warm and cozy, you feel really relaxed. Your body is completely weightless. And there's splashes of pink and purple that are going across the sky. And suddenly there's the brightest, most magnificent twinkling star. It's you, Musa. And the next star, Celeste, Jamie, Jeanette. I see all of the stars. Kwanele, Banele, Rakesh, Griselda, Jenny, Nathan, Nompumelelo, Angelique, Warren, Isaac, and Bongani. You can open your eyes as your star has been placed on the Da Vinci galaxy in front of you. And if you look in the right-hand side, you will see the purple cow of remarkability mapped against some of the real stars. And if you open your graduation handbook, on the first page, you will see that we've etched a constellation that is 2 twos against real stars. This is the class of 2022 going up in our Da Vinci constellation for all eternity of Da Vinci's galaxy. A galaxy is a place where it goes beyond the normal. It goes beyond discovery because we can never discover everything that's in our galaxies. There are continually new things that are discovered. So today we say congratulations on becoming a Da Vinci star and finding your place in the Institute's galaxy of remarkability. And if you ever feel lonely or you ever feel that you are alone, remember you have always got Da Vinci as your academic home. Our campus is open 24/7, and I'm not kidding. Prof. Klopper can confirm as the CEO. So whether you're driving past and you feel like you just want a break, cup of coffee, you're early for a meeting or something, pull in whenever you want. If you're studying and you feel that it's too noisy at home, you can come on a Saturday, sit in the library and work. We hope to see you on lifelong journeys of learning and to stay connected with us. Please come to all our alumni events, Curiosity every last Tuesday of the month, Demonstrazioni, and different events that we will engage with you online to continue to fulfill yourself in this way of lifelong learning, even if you're not embarking on formal qualifications, which we hope you all are. But I want to say to you today, take a break, celebrate and enjoy yourselves. I now call on Dr. Heather Good to formally dissolve this congregation.
Thank you, Dr. Kernan. It has been a pleasure to watch you graduate and witness the last steps in your journey. And so on behalf of those who can't be here, as a member of Senate and as faculty of the Da Vinci Institute, I'd like to extend my congratulations to you as well. Well done. As the representative of Senate of the Da Vinci Institute, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the Da Vinci Institute of Technology Management. Congratulations, enjoy your celebrations.
So before we sing the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa, I just want to say that after this, you will proceed, after the academic procession is left, you're invited to refreshments outside with your family members. Those that are joining us online, I'm afraid it's a picnic, a fridge, a cooler box for you. And some of you I saw on the video were in the car, so you'll have to drive to a store. But for the rest of you, we'll celebrate outside with you. And then my very handsome procession and pretty procession, Dr. Bagaloo and the team here, will be outside. If you wish to take photos, you can take individual photos with your representatives. I know you'll want a SAF and a SAPER photo, so join into those photos so that you can use them. I know Martine always wants one of those. And then with whoever you want, individually, alone, together, etc. These are complimentary from us and will be sent to you via your program convener, which is Sonia, and it will be sent to you via email, and then you can just download your photos off of that. And then obviously your professional photos come to you through the formal channels. So without further ado, I ask you to please stand and join us in the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa. We are aware that many of you represent different countries. We've got students from all over the world, but our qualifications are accredited and our institute registered here in South Africa, even though students manage to work all over the world with our qualifications. But our Da Vinci house is here on South African soil, so we sing the national anthem, followed by the procession leaving. Thank you.
Por